Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right, baby. Welcome to the Gridiron. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,600 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, hey, another day. The Giants are just moving along. I know one of the things that Mr. Mara said, is he doesn't always want to, how do you put it, win in free agency or win or be the one who spends the most money in free agency or something along those lines. And the Giants, I don't think, haven't dished out maybe the most, but, they've been pretty active. Every day they're either re-sign and bringing back some guys, which is great because, you'll bring them back. A lot of the guys are bringing back, except for, Darius, right? Low cost. And you got to have those guys, those low cost guys. We're going to go over a couple more of the guys that they brought back. So they've re-signed quite a few. Some exclusive rights, free agent, whatever, but they've brought back quite a few of them. So that's good, keeping the group together. So, pretty much you look at like the Giants, the 2 big kahunas the Giants are going to lose. And the Giants are really going to lose. Well, all right. If you throw Van Roten in there. Now, you still don't know. I didn't go scouring the internet or nothing. I don't know if he's signed with somebody or not or whatever. The Giants are going to bring him back. As far as I know, the articles I'm reading, the Giants are still trying to maybe get in on the Fries signed with the Vikings. So the Giants will had something in for him. But he went with the Vikings. So the Giants are possibly still on the guard market. So we'll have to wait and see. They certainly can't be in the offensive tackle department anymore after these past couple of days. We'll go over that in just a little bit. But they're still in, the guard market. So, you look at like, they don't have any quarterbacks except for Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan from last year. But, the big free agents that they had, Van Roten, as I said, still might wind up bringing him back. Who knows? If he winds up being the best option, he's still available if he wants to play. Possibly. Who knows? But, Pinnock, right? Oh, my God. Speaking of Pinnock, right? But also Aziz. But Aziz wasn't a starter. Aziz would be a starter, when Kayvon got injured, right? But other than that, Aziz, Aziz would have been a starter if we didn't bring in Bernsey, right? And Aziz could possibly be a starter maybe wherever he goes. And I wish the guy nothing but the best. Guy gets injured too much now. Is he cursed by the Giants? The end of the injuries? Who knows? But wherever he goes, I'm sure he'll get handsomely paid. Reasonably well paid. He's not getting no, $40 million Garrett money or not, right? $40 million a year or nothing like that. But he'll certainly make more than what he was on his rookie deal with the Giants, being a second round pick. But I mean, for the most part, the Giants really, not losing, really anybody. I mean, they did bring Darius back, so a lot of the core guys are here. So now what we're trying to do is add, right, to the group. Now, obviously, as I just showed you, we lost a safety. So therefore, we need a safety. Well, right? Pinnock went with the 49ers. Good for him. Possibly, once again, I don't want to sit here and say, I'll tell you what, man. I watched every angle of every snap that Pinnock took last year with the Giants, and I spent 300 years of my life watching every snap he took when Wink was here, and I diagrammed all the plays, and I ain't going to be it. I'm not saying that because I didn't do that. That ain't me. Ain't never going to be me, right? But possibly when Wink was here, right, maybe Pinnock with the scheme and all was more involved, might have been a little more valuable. Now, quite possibly. Hey, what's up, buddy? With Bowen, it might be a little bit of a different story. It just goes to show you, one of the things, talking about the problem about bringing in new people. You bring somebody in new, they got a new scheme, new system, whatever, Some guys might be elevated by that. Other guys, it's like, they lose their luster, shall we say. So Pinnock might have been one of those players, right? But with Holland, obviously he was injured, but 2 years ago, let me see here. I have 312,000 tabs open up here. Let me see here. See if I can pop it up here. I'm gonna find it here. I want to Holland. Oh, there we go. He graded out. The dude graded out a frickin' 90 2 years ago for Miami. 707 snaps in 2023. He graded out at 90. His coverage grade was at 89.9. Now, he obviously, what I took, injuries, he broke his, he was injured, so, right. But he took a little bit of a step back last year, right? You see, in 2022, he must have played darn near almost every snap, 1,197, right? But in his rookie season, 893 snaps, he graded out as a rookie, 84.7. Holy cow. But, he graded out at 90 2 years ago. All right, let me see here. 1, 2, I played, I guess, almost most of the snaps. See, week 6 and 7 and 9, he's not there. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So one of them must have had to be their bye, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6, 7, and 9. So one of those weeks was a bye. So it was a couple games he missed, right? So he would have had well over 900 snaps last season. Okay. But injuries, curtail this season a little bit. But just tell you what, a major upgrade. Let's see. Once again, let me share my screen. Let me get Pinnock up here. And I'll show you what Pinnock did last year. All right, share screen. Okay, so Pinnock last season, I graded out of 54. Okay, now you'll notice once again here, okay, now he played a lot of snaps, right? You can't knock the last 2 seasons, you can't knock Pinnock at all. The dude, darn near almost 2,000 snaps between the last 2 seasons. So you tip your cap to the guy right there. Right? But you'll notice here with Wink, grades out of 67.8. Bowen comes in 54.5. His run defense was a big difference there. His coverage grade with Wink was a 64. Last year was a 45. Okay, his run defense 59 the last season under Bowen. 67.9. So, I mean, he graded out, what was it, 13 points higher with Wink. Right? Once again, that's just PFF. Right? That's all I'm going by. Okay. But you'll notice last year graded out of 54. But even still, I mean, you look at these numbers, a 70, a 61, but a 67 point, pretty good. But, just quite possibly under the Bowen system, it's just, unfortunately, that's the way it is. Some guys are just not quite as valuable, right? But, I mean, so you got to look, we lost, obviously, McKinney for about $17 million. Right, for the Packers. We brought him in for about 14 or 15 million. Okay. He's young. McKinney's young too, but he's very young as well too, right? But he's good, solid safety. Let's hope. Because, with the Dolphins that play on grass, right? This is the land of the injuries here. Right. So let's hope he can stay healthy. Right. Because if he can stay healthy, him and Adebo, right? I mean, that's two really, right? Now we go into the draft. Now, it would not be a bad idea ever, maybe even the later rounds or whatever, right? To obviously bring in another person in the secondary, bring in an offensive lineman in the draft, a defensive lineman / edge rusher, or whatever you want to do, and somebody in the secondary. So maybe we can add a little more depth in the secondary. Right, we're going to go over the Giants draft picks, right? A little later in our program here, because the Giants got a compensatory pick added. So I mean, it would never hurt, obviously, to add a little bit of depth, right, in the secondary. So, but I mean, I did see. I can't remember what everybody's age is because I'm a moron. I can't remember, but you look. I mean, between Dabo, right, Banks, Phillips. I mean, Flat, Hawkins. I mean, Javarius Owens, Belton, Newbin, right, Holland. I mean, that's a young secondary. I'm not saying we're top 5 or nothing like that, but good young secondary, really, really good young secondary. So, so now the Giants aren't pressed right now. We got to get a safety early on. They're not pressed. Oh, we got to get a number 1 cornerback or we're freaking screwed. No, not have to worry about that, right? The Giants still need 2 quarterbacks, right? We're waiting on Wilson, who's supposed to be here. He's going to Cleveland Thursday, and I think he's showing up in Giants land on Friday, right? And then we're still waiting here for Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, right? But we still need 2 quarterbacks, okay? We need a guard, and we really could use a defensive tackle. Now, the guard, as I said, might get in free agency. Heck, you can get a nice guard. Should be able to get a decent guard in the 3rd round, right? If we take a quarterback in the 1st round, right? We can maybe pick up a defensive lineman / tackle, right? Or whatever in the 2nd round. Pick 34. There should be a good one out there. Might be an edge rusher or defensive tackle or somebody, right? So we'll have to wait and see. We could certainly use another wide receiver, without question. We brought Slayton back. We need some more depth there, without question. Let's see, defensive tackle. Right. But so far we're doing pretty good. The thing is that the Giants need 2 quarterbacks, right? Now, unless they bring in, it's going to be interesting to see. If they bring in, say, Rodgers is going to be on a short deal no matter what. But you can almost see if he were to bring in Russell Wilson, right? Sign him for multiple years, maybe 3 years. Maybe, he can be the answer. The Giants can now pick and choose who they want to draft as far as a quarterback. Pick a quarterback in the 3rd round, take one in the 2nd round. They don't have to take a quarterback in the 1st round, especially if one's not there. But they signed Russell Wilson, I'm just saying, right? So I say 3 years. Just saying, once again, get out after 2, sign up for 3, right? They could take a quarterback this year in the draft. They could take one next year because they had their starting quarterback, right? In Russell Wilson. I mean, that would open things up. That would be nice. There's the pick number 3, right? They can take, I believe his name is Graham from Michigan, right? If they don't need to take a quarterback. If Carter's there, swoop in and take him. If Hunter's there. Now, the thing is with Hunter is that, he's a cornerback / wide receiver, right? So you may not need the cornerback part of it, So you're not so sure about that. But there's other guys that you can wind up taking, right? So we'll have to certainly have to wait and see. But very excited about this pick here with Holland. Just hopefully he can stay healthy. Same thing with the Debo, right? Because he got injured last year, so. But we got Pinnock leaving Giants for the San Francisco 49ers. Pinnock bolts New York after they signed Jevon Holland. Former New York Giants safety Jason Pinnock is finalizing a 1-year deal with the 49ers. Pinnock started the last 2 seasons for the Giants, playing a total of 1,987 snaps. Wow. Very impressive. The 25-year-old took a step back last season and failed to seize the moment opposite rookie Tyler Nubin. Pinnock was as a prototype safety body, 6 foot tall, 205 pounds with long extremities. But the inconsistent location and crucially missed tackles plagued the young player. Pinnock missed 13.4% of his tackles over the 3 seasons in New York, with 27 missed tackles as a starter. Yeah, you know what I mean? And when you're sometimes maybe the last line of defense, that's not good. Through 3 seasons in New York, Pinnock defensed 10 passes, had 3 interceptions. Remember that one, the only touchdown we scored against Miami? Right? We picked the one off from Tua and ran it back for a touchdown. Right? He had 211 tackles, 12 for loss, 28 pressures, and 6.5 sacks. Now, the thing is that the 33rd team dug up this unsavory statistic about Pinnock. Now, the 33rd team does a very good job. Unfortunately, the 33rd team, they don't pick up whatever I say, like anything positive. It's always negative. Anything negative, that's what they dig up and talk about. It says here that from the 33rd team, Jason Pinnock allowed a passer rating of 148.3 when targeted last season. That is the worst among all defensive backs that saw more than 20 targets in 2024. So, not impressed. Not impressed there at all. All right, but all right. Giants did land Dolphin star safety Jevon Holland in another major NFL free agency upgrade. So you got to give Shane some credit there. The Debo and Holland, that's a nice, 2 nice additions to a very young second. I mean, the whole defense is very young, very, very young. I said, if we get a good defensive tackle, boy, once again, I don't ever want to drink the Kool-Aid. Don't want to drink the Kool-Aid, but we could use somebody in there, right, to help stuff the run, without question. We're bringing in, right, guys, some depth and all that and everything. We're going to talk about another one just in a moment, okay? But we could really use another real solid stud in there. And boy, I'll tell you, if we can get one in the 1st or 2nd round of the draft, that would be fantastic. There are different ways to build a competitive team, and fortifying what had been a shabby defense is never a bad approach. Now, the thing is just kind of weird because it's like they let McKinney go, right? Because I don't know. You're never gonna know 100%. Well, they didn't like him. He didn't fit their scheme. What was the problem? Why did they let McKinney go for $17 million, and then they bring Holland in for about $14 or $15 million? Right? Holland's 25 years old, but McKinney's young. McKinney's I believe, even younger than that. So, Giants continued along that pathway, striking early on the 2nd day of NFL free agency. They went in with holes to fill and are filling them one by one. They added a starting safety, agreeing to terms Tuesday morning on Jevon Holland, a 25-year-old who will move directly into the lineup. You're damn right he will. This is a huge addition for the Giants, and Holland did not come cheaply. Well, he deserves to get paid. I mean, heck. He will sign a 3-year contract, 45, so $15.1 million. Right? So they didn't want to sign McKinney for 17. I can see that, but they signed Holland for 15.1. So, right? Big money for a player considered to be the top safety available in free agency this year. Good for him, man. Welcome aboard, brother. We could use you. Thank you for signing with the Giants. Thank you. 1 year after General Manager Joe Schoen opted not to pay big bucks to retain Xavier McKinney, he reeled in a top of the market safety spending on a position that he previously did not prioritize. Once again, just don't know what happened, right? McKinney received a 4-year, $67 million deal from the Packers and went on to have a sensational 2024 season, finishing second in the NFL, 8 interceptions, 8. Giants as a team had 5 all season long, and McKinney, who would let go, had 8. Holland, a 2021 second-round pick out of Oregon, right? I mean, it seems like the second-round safeties seems like a sweet spot, right? Landon Collins, right? Xavier McKinney, right? Tyler Nubin, Jevon Holland, second round, right? He spent his first 4 seasons with the Dolphins, starting 57 of 60 games he appeared in. He will line up in the back end of the defense against Tyler Nubin, the 2024 second-round pick, who started 13 games as a rookie before he went down with an ankle injury that required surgery. So we have 2 second-round safeties in the back. Cool. Holland has 5 career interceptions, 6'1", 205 pounds, and is considered to be a willing and able contributor in the run game. He also has 5 forced fumbles, 5 sacks. Holland's 91.3 grade in coverage, according to Pro Football Focus, is the 5th highest in the league among safeties since 2021. Why was Holland available? He did not play his best in 2024, a career low 62 tackles and no interceptions. He did make an impact during his time in Miami. However, in his second season, Holland became the youngest team captain in Dolphins history. Giants believe Newman has a strong leadership trait, and lining him up next to Holland should make for an interesting pairing. Just like that, the Giants have a young, aggressive, athletic, and versatile defensive backfield. Here we go, right? Newly signed cornerback Paulson Adebo is 25. Holland is 25. Deontay Banks, 24. Newman and Drew Phillips are both 23. Now, let's not forget about Flott. This will be Flott's 4th season as well, too. Right? Let's not forget about Trey Hawkins. Let's not forget about Javarius Owens. Let's not forget about Dane Belton. All those guys, young, very young secondary. If the Giants with defensive coordinator Shane Bowen in his second year, new secondary coach, defensive passing game coordinator Marquand Manuel, and new assistant cornerbacks coach Jeff Burris can get Banks, the 2023 first-round pick, to pick up his intensity and performance, this club could be vastly improved group. Is this a major pivot as far as assessing positional value by Shane, paying a safety a year after not aiming up for McKinney, 1 year after one of their own draft picks? Well, Shane didn't draft them, but, so it's, one of those things you just don't know. Well, the Giants a year ago did have an offer on the table for McKinney that would have paid him around $15 million per season, almost exactly what he paid Holland. So, right, McKinney took the Giants' offer and shopped it around. He wanted to become the league's highest paid safety, and he was able to get a deal with the Packers for $17 million per season. So, Shane offered him. It's what it is. I mean, sometimes you gotta, here's what it is. As McKinney was considering his options, the Giants were engaged in talks to trade for edge rusher Brian Burns. Once it became clear they could get the deal done, they relocated the money to Burns, who was acquired and then signed to a 5-year, $141 million contract. Holland ended up getting more guaranteed money than McKinney, who received $23 million guaranteed from the Packers. Given that the 2025 salary cap increased by nearly 10%, Holland's contract is a cost savings. The first 2 days of free agency, the Giants added significant players to their defense. So we're gonna go over. We're gonna go over. Absolutely. So, very, 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 very good. They're adding and they're adding. There we go. They're adding to their defensive line. Now, as I said, I still would love to see, somebody, a good, solid defensive tackle in there. As I said, man, I say, you can never have too much on that defensive front, never, because guys get injured, right? You can fire up some kind of NASCAR package where you have Sexy Dexy and you have like 3 edge rushers on there on a passing down or something like that. All kinds of stuff, right? So if somebody gets injured, if somebody needs a breather or something like that, if you can bring in a fresh body, you bring somebody in who, a top of the line player, who's coming in off the bench, who's all nice and rested up and everything like that. You can never. So, a lot of it, obviously they feed off each other, right? If you can get to the quarterback quickly, that helps the secondary, right? If the secondary can actually cover receivers, that helps the front line, right? Because, the front line doesn't have to get to the quarterback in under 2 seconds, right? So, obviously you hear all the time the term, right? What? Coverage sack, right? The quarterback's in the pocket looking around, kind of like one of these things, kind of like that. And after about 4 seconds or so, the pocket caves in on him, right? So, one helps the other. So, So far, I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid because I've done that too many times. But, so far, so good. But with Golston here, let me see here. I got it. Got it. Do I have him? There we go. Here we go. All right. Let me pop him up here. Share screen. All right. You got to give me a second here. Once again, I got 312,000 tabs open here. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's share the screen here. Okay, let's take a deep dive into Mr. Golston here. Okay, and this is last season here. Okay, make this a little bit bigger. All right, so even I can see it. Right. So last season he played 790 snaps. That's a nice amount. Okay, because you're not going to get a defensive lineman or what to be playing in every snap. So 800 snaps. That's a heck of a lot of snaps. Now, it looks like he played, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. See, he played in every game, all 17 games, right? Yes. Look, maybe in Baltimore, I'm not sure what happened there. He only played 11 snaps. I'm not sure if something, if what was going on here early on. But then you'll notice, maybe, I don't know, maybe he got his chance or maybe injuries popped up or something. But then you'll notice once he played Pittsburgh, actually that was the game I was at with my son in Pittsburgh. He started playing 52 snaps. And after that, he was just off and running 45, 58, 54, 50, 60. So he was playing a lot of snaps after the Giant game. He was playing a lot of snaps. And you'll notice after that, right? Look here against Pittsburgh, he graded a 77. Once again, it's all PFF. That's all I'm going by. All right. 73, 68, 76, a 70. He had a clunker against Tampa Bay, a clunker against Houston. The last game of the season against the Commanders graded a 79. Now you also notice here, right? What do we got here? Okay, he had 465 rush snaps, right? He had 37 pressures. Right, so that's about, 37, maybe 1 every 13 pass rushing attempts, pass rushing snaps, whatever you want to call it. 1 out of every 13 times he got a pressure. So, if he was in there for 26 pass rushes during a game, he would get 2 pressures. Okay. Now, they have him in here for 7 sacks. PFF they don't do half sacks. Right. So, but, it's a good, now you'll notice here, right? Run defense. Okay. His run defense is a 56. His tackling is a little, last season with, he missed some tackles. He had a couple bad games here against Tampa Bay, missing tackles. The Giant game, he missed some tackles. So a couple of the games he missed some tackles. Right, that's what brought him down. But you'll notice here, right? All right, with Dallas last season, he graded a 65.3. Then 2023 graded a 66.1 and a 69.3. So his second, third, and fourth season grading in the 60s, right? You'll notice, last season was by far his most pressures, right? So, right, some good depth piece. He's not going to be overly expensive. Like $6.5 million, 3-year deal, $19.5 million, $6.5 million annually. So that's a good, for what he can possibly give you. That's $6.5 million, dude. I mean, that's like chump change. Let me tell you. The Giants are adding some more talent to the defensive line, according to Mike Garafolo of NFL Network. Giants have agreed to terms on a deal with former Dallas Cowboys pass rusher Chauncey Golston. Giants have reportedly agreed to terms with Golston on a 3-year, $19.5 million. He will join a defensive line that features Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau as its starting edge rushers. Golston is a defensive end who has been with the Cowboys since being drafted in the third round of the 2021 NFL Draft. The 27-year-old had a career high in 2024, totaling a career high of 5.5 sacks. So he had 5.5 sacks. PFF has him down for 7, so they don't do half sacks. So, but with 5 tackles for loss, 8 quarterback hits, Golston can be viewed as a high upside signing as a player who is still ascending and coming off his best season. Now, maybe if the Godfather, right, gets a hold of him, maybe helps him out even a little bit more. Who knows, right? Who knows? But I'd still love to see the Giants get somebody in the draft, in the second round. I mean, they're taking a quarterback in the first round. I got it. No problem with that. Let's get a defensive stud on the defensive line, edge rusher, defensive end, tackle, whatever you want. Somebody there. Let's get a stud in the second round. That would be fantastic. According to Pro Football Focus, Golston totaled 37 pressures, 28 hurries last season, which were both career high marks. He has appeared in 64 games in his career, but has made only 16 starts, with the bulk of those starts, 13 coming last season. While Golston has aligned primarily as an edge rusher in the past, he is also aligned on the interior as a defensive end. 6'5", nice size, 268-pounder, could be a versatile rusher and defensive coordinator Shane Bowen's defense. Now, that's like could be possibly one of those NASCAR packages, right? If they got, like, say, the other team's got, third down and 14, whatever, right? You put Golston in there, you got Sexy Dexy in there, you got Burnsy in there, you got Kayvon in there, right? Giants edge rusher Azeez Ojulari is also a free agent this offseason and is expected to net a deal around a similar value. Considering as New York is allocating that money toward Golston, this deal likely signals the end of Ojulari's time in the Big Apple, although the possibility of a return still remains. I'm cool with that. Hey, I'll tell you what, I ain't got no problem bringing Azeez back. I mean, I tell you, when the dude is healthy, right, and he's on the field, okay, you can sometimes the dude looks like he's got a rocket up his butt. I mean, definitely, without question. He's certainly somebody, you gotta limit his snaps, shall we say. Hope he stays healthy, right? Limit his snaps. But if he's healthy, the snaps he can give you pretty good. Now, he may not be the greatest in the run department, but then you get him in there, in some specialty packages or whatever. I said, same thing like that NASCAR package. Get a bunch of edge rushers or defensive ends get sexy out and get a bunch of guys who can rush the passer on third down, right? I said, you can never have too many edge rushers. Absolutely not. Never. And if you can bring Azeez Ojulari back for $6 or $7 million, that's a deal. That's a deal. The thing is, though, is look, the Giants had like 40-something odd $1 million. I mean, it's like, and you start adding up all these guys they're bringing in, it's like, yeah, that's like, wait, it's about we've about spent almost all the money we've had. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's always ways of figuring stuff out and all that. You're like, well, how are we bringing in like a just saying. How are we bringing in an Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson for 30 or 40 million a year? How are we doing it? I mean, but it is what it is. But once again, it's another very, very good signing for the Giants. Adding some good quality depth to the defensive line. All right, so very, very good. All right, now next. Now this was kind of a shocker because all the reports I was reading and everything like that had the Giants getting a 4th round compensatory pick. Well, now this is a 3rd round compensatory pick. So now the Giants, I believe if I read this here, okay, have 4 picks in the top 100. 5, I think, in the top 105. 5 picks at the top 105. So the Giant, if Shane can do what he did last year, I mean, especially you figure where we got like Theo Johnson at last year or Tracy at, and all right, 4th and 5th rounds, right? I mean, well, I'll tell you what, if we can knock it out of the park with those first 5 guys, man, that would be fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. All right. Giants were awarded a compensatory pick in the 3rd round, number 99 overall of the upcoming 2025 NFL draft. The league announced Tuesday evening. So now the thing is that you got to, that was obviously because, when you get awards, especially a 3rd rounder, right? That means that you lost your free agents that you lost, like their contracts and all were, well outdid anything that, you got. The guy, the free agents that you brought in. Well, I'll tell you what, don't be looking. We ain't getting no compensatory picks next year. That ain't happening because we're bringing in all these guys and the free agents that we're losing, right? Azeez Ojulari, if he signs one for $5 or $6 or $7 million, I mean that's nothing, right? And then Pinnock signed a small 1-year deal, so we ain't getting no compensatory picks next year, right? But I mean, we got a 3rd rounder. 3rd round, that's the highest you can get. I think that they go from 3rd round to 7th round. So you get a compensatory pick in the top 100. Really good, really good. Under the rules for compensatory draft selections, a team losing more compensatory free agents (CFAs) than it acquires in the previous year is eligible to receive compensatory draft picks. The compensatory picks are positioned within the 3rd through 7th round based on the value of the compensatory free agents lost. Compensatory free agents are determined by a formula based on salary, playing time, and postseason honors. The formula was developed by the NFL Management Council. Not every free agent lost or signed by a club is covered by this formula. Clubs that suffer a net loss of CFAs during the prior free agent signing period are eligible to receive a corresponding number of compensatory selections. In addition, a club that lost the same number of CFAs that it gained with no net loss may be eligible to receive a selection at the end of round 7 based on the value of the CFAs lost versus the value of the CFAs gained. Promise you, there won't be a test on this at the end of the video. No club may receive more than 4 compensatory picks in any 1 year. If a club qualifies for more than 4 compensatory picks after offsetting each CFA lost by each CFA gained of an equal or higher value, the 4 highest remaining selections will be awarded to the club. So, I mean, once again, hey, you got to lose a lot of picks to get 4, right? Let's see what we got here. All right. Giants full draft order revealed after compensatory picks are released. Giants gained an extra 3rd round pick thanks to the NFL's compensatory formula. There's never a bad time for good news. You got that right, brother. Let me tell you what. Whew. And to pick up an extra third-round pick, whew, that's almost like gold there, baby. When you got Shane and Dable's butts on fire, right? They're hot. Seats are hot, right? You get an extra third-round pick. Whew, very good. Hours after signing safety Jevon Holland, the Giants learned that they had been awarded a third-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft for the loss of safety Xavier McKinney. Thank you. McKinney, of course, signed a 4-year, $67 million deal with the Green Bay Packers ahead of the 2024 season. He found immediate success, catching 8 interceptions on the way to the Pro Bowl and All-Pro honors. New York did receive a pick for the loss of running back Saquon Barkley, who signed with the Eagles before. With the compensatory pick settled, the Giants' full draft order was revealed. They will make the following selections, barring a trade, on the nights of April 24th to 26th. So what we got? Today's the 12th, so you got, today's what? Almost Thursday, so we got about 6 weeks. 6 weeks is the draft. Whew, wow, that's crazy. 6 weeks. Okay, so round 1, obviously we have pick 3. Okay, so it actually goes 3, 2, 1. All right. First round, we got the 3rd pick in the first round, pick number 3. Round 2, we got the 2nd pick in round 2, pick 34. Round 3, boom, we got the 1st pick in round 3. We have maybe like kind of almost like the first and maybe almost like the last pick in round 3. We got round 3, we got pick 65 and pick 99 was a compensatory pick. So we got 4 picks in the top 100. Then in round 4, we have pick 105. So we have 5 picks in the top 105 of the draft class. 5 picks. Now with those 5 picks, you should be able to fill a couple holes, 2, 3 holes, and you should be able to get some good depth. Some good depth, and that's just rounds 4. We have pick round 5. We have pick 154 from the Seahawks, and we have 2 7th-round picks, 219, and then round 7, pick number 246 from the Bills. So we got some later round picks, but I'll tell you what, boy, I mean, 5 picks in the top 105. Nice. What that means, that's like every 21 players, we get a pick, right? So the Giants' first 21 picks, just not breaking it down, right? First 21 picks, the Giants get a pick. The next 21 picks, the Giants get a pick. Next 21 picks. So every 21 picks, Giants will get a pick. Pretty good. Giants will get a pick, then 20 other players will get picked, then the Giants get picked. So I'll tell you what, if Shane can do as well in this draft as he did last year, man, that'd be fantastic. Fantastic. Getting an extra day 2 pick is a nice boost to General Manager Joe Shane's arsenal as New York kicks off a pivotal offseason. In the midst of a rebuild, Shane must find his 2nd consecutive strong draft class. The roster's depth is still insufficient. You got that right. And high-level talent along the offensive line and defensive line could have a significant impact on the win curve. You got that right. Absolutely. Further, the pick can be used as an additional ammo for a potential trade with the Titans. Right? So if we have to trade like a first, just if they're gonna, no idea. Right? If this year, if they're going to trade up, say they trade a third, their first, one of the thirds, and a first to move up, and say maybe a third or something like next year. Just saying, right? That way the Giants, they trade a third to move up to number 1 this year, they'll still have a 3rd-round pick. And then they can move up to number 1. They can, if, and they can take whatever player they want. Even with the leverage of offering one of Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, leverage could lead to leaking draft picks. Even if number 99 isn't dealt, it's extra insulation for a draft class that could be pillaged by Tennessee. In a class that lacks star power deep into the first round, there are plenty of starters to be had throughout day 2 and into day 3. It's on Shane to ensure it isn't awarded in vain. So we'll have to wait and see. But, that's some really good news. 5 picks at the top 105. So, I said what I was saying there. I mean, you could find some first at least 2-3 picks. Hopefully you should find guys be starters for you, right? Then after that, you just look for maybe best player available, whatever guys, guys who could be some good quality depth for you going forward. Because let's not forget, you got rounds 3, round 4. These guys don't make a lot of money. And if you can find a couple diamonds in the rough, you got them for 4 years, like not even $1 million a season. I mean, that's freaking nothing. The salary cap's almost $300 million, and you got a guy who can play a lot of snaps, a lot of maybe special team snaps, right? Carves out a role maybe on defense or something like that. And you got him for like $1 million or less than $1 million. Man, that's fantastic. And especially if you can find guys, right, who are smart, tough, dependable, guys who haven't been injured in the past, right? Or don't have some long, significant injury history, right? So it's really, really good news. But right? Giants tender good old Deontay Johnson. Now, of course, the poor guy got injured. Talking about injuries, you can't talk about Giants without talking about injuries, right? But brought him back. He played a small. Let's share a screen here. All right, where's he at here? Let's see here. Hold on. Here somewhere. Wait. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, all right, so this is him last year, right? After he came back and all, because he got injured early on, right? But if you'll notice here, this is just his special teams, okay? The last 2 games, he played 28 total snaps. But let me tell you what. I mean, once again, small sample size, only 28 snaps, right? But, this here, 77.3 is pretty darn impressive. After each game is over, right, what I'll do is pretty much like on a Monday, what I'll do is I'll put a video out going PFFs, right? The team grades, the offensive grades, the defensive grades, and the special team grades. Well, a lot at times, I'll tell you what, there might be like 30 different guys play special teams. Out of those 30 guys, I mean, it's just like a ballpark, mediocre kind of grade. A lot of the guys on special teams get a grade of about a 60, right? So, I mean, unless you do something really bad, then obviously it's worse than that. But I'll tell you what, you grading out in the 70s, that's pretty good, right? Now, last season, he played in the final game of the season on defense against the Eagles, right? Now, once again, he had 9 tackles, okay? He had 1 pressure, right? He had 9 total tackles, okay? But, now, once again, this was against the Eagles. I don't know how many backups they had in there, but they didn't start their starters for the most year, okay? So, I mean, he graded out only like a 50. But, it shows he can play. As I said, he went in there and he played, he had 9 snaps. I'm sorry, 9 tackles. He played 37 snaps. So he only played like maybe half the game or so. He didn't play a heck of a lot. Okay. I mean, obviously, if he played like, say, 60 snaps or so or whatever, he would have had well over 10 tackles. Right. Didn't grade out exceptionally well, but once again, he's a good contributor on special teams. So, once again, you got to bring guys back like that. Right. All right. Let's see. Is this one here? Okay. So, Giants tender exclusive rights free agent linebacker Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson is being tendered by the Giants as an exclusive rights free agent per source. He will return on a 1-year deal. The athletic Johnson would have played a bigger role last season had an ankle injury not derailed him in training camp. I mean, early on, yeah. Johnson was originally signed 2 years ago by the Giants as an buddy, I'm sorry. My buddy Randy here. It's underneath my legs. He was signed as an undrafted free agent out of Toledo. So if you're signed, that's where you wind up getting like those. Right, there's the exclusive rights free agents. There's the free agents, right? But if you're like an undrafted free agent and a team signs you, right, like Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, exclusive rights free agent, he didn't get drafted. Same thing with Deontay Johnson. The undrafted free agent, the team has you, right? You're an exclusive rights, meaning like if they send you an offer, you got to sign it. You can't go shopping it around. You can't say, well, I'll call my agent and see what other teams are. No, you have to sign it, right? But it's a good signing for the Giants. Good signing. He spent the entire 2023 season on the practice squad and then most of last season on injury reserve with the ankle injury. He got in training camp. I mean, it was unbelievable. The Giants remain high on Johnson, even with a solid core of inside linebackers in outs such as Akarake, McFadden, and Muasau. They throw Johnson in there too, right? The monetary terms of Johnson's tender deal have yet to be released, but I mean, you can, it's not a $3.5 million deal. I mean, Deontay Johnson looked promising last summer until an ankle injury cut short his promising push for a roster spot. I feel bad for these guys, man. They live and breathe this stuff, right? Finally make it to training camp, all this stuff and everything, and boom. It's like, jeez, God. Giants have tendered linebacker Deontay Johnson, an exclusive rights free agent, ensuring the young linebacker gets another season. Yes, very good. Johnson joined the Giants as an undrafted free agent out of Toledo following the 2023 draft. He spent that season on practice squad. Following year, Johnson playing in a new scheme as brought in by defensive coordinator Shane Bowen seemed to be a better fit for the position requirements. Johnson appeared in 24 preseason snaps and registered 3 pressures, including a sack, 3 tackles in his lone preseason appearance before suffering what would be a month-long ankle injury. So he had 24 snaps, he had 3 pressures, he had a sack, and he had 3 tackles. Not bad. After a stint on injury reserve, he was finally activated and appeared in the Giants' Week 18 game against the Eagles. I'm good. That's good to hear, man. I mean, you get injured right away in preseason, and you go through all this crap. It's nice to see he was rewarded for the final game of the season. I'll bet you that thrilled the heck out of the guy. Absolutely thrilled him. He registered 9 tackles in that game and 1 pressure, offering a glimpse of what he can do with more snaps as a potential depth player at the linebacker spot. So that's good for him. Really, really, fantastic. I said, the one thing is, Shane's bringing back a lot of these guys that, where we at there, Kreider, Amir Smith-Marset, right, Deontay Johnson, bringing back a lot of guys, the Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, a lot of the guys, that don't cost a lot, shall we say, because you got to have those other guys on the roster. Everybody can't make $20 million. Well, it is what it is, but this is another good one. After you saw what he can do. You got to get good blocking, of course, because against the Colts, I mean, it was just designed. I mean, the way it blocked and all of that, the guy just like up the middle, gone. Now, exactly, this is just once again one of those things I'm gonna say scratch my head about, but there ain't much more hair up there to scratch about. It's kind of like, what happened to Gunnar Olszewski? I mean, I know he hurt his groin, but I mean, how bad did he hurt this thing? I mean, hopefully Smith-Marset can stay healthy. Let's see where we at here. Right. Amir Smith-Marset re-signing could be a bigger deal than the fans realize. The NFL's latest attempt to spice up the return game could be a game changer for teams with legitimate special teams weapons. And that makes the New York Giants' decision to bring back Amir Smith-Marset all the more interesting. Once again, guys going to be on the cheap. We didn't bring him back on a 3-year, $13.7 million. No. You know what I mean? Per Jordan Renan, the Giants are bringing back the electric kick returner wide receiver on a 1-year deal. The league is potentially considering moving the touchback to the 35-yard line or pushing the kickoff spot back 5 yards to force more returns. Cool. Last year's dynamic kickoff system already led to a 57% increase in returns. And now they want even more action. If that happens, teams with a real return threat are going to benefit in a big way. You got that right. Luckily for the Giants, they just re-signed a guy who took full advantage of the new kickoff rules last season. Smith-Marsette could be a sneaky weapon in the new return era. Emir Smith-Marsette was one of the few bright spots in an otherwise miserable 2024 Giants season. Yeah, you can say that once again. The 25-year-old, once again, another young guy. They have a very young team. Very young team. The 25-year-old return specialist delivered the team's first kickoff return touchdown in nearly a decade. I mean, how pathetic is that, huh? Taking 100 yards to the house in Week 17 against the Colts. That earned him the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week honors and cemented him as a legitimate return weapon. Now, obviously, he's got the speed, right? He's got the tools and everything, but it's got to be blocked well too. And that one return with the Colts, I don't know if anybody really touched him either. I mean, he made this. He quick to see, got the ball, and he got up, and you can just see like got a rocket up his butt, but he like basically up the middle, and hardly anybody touched him, if anybody. So it was blocked very well. That's the one thing about with this new. I mean, there's as they say, like Gabriel was talking about, like is that there's not many layers. You know, what I mean, it's like you got a line of guys here and a line of guys here, and when the guy kicks the ball, I mean, this line here, the defensive, has got to kind of, they can't just go like that because all you got to do is break them, get a little hole. Guy goes that, I mean, so they come up, but they got to have at least a couple or 2 layers or so to it, right? So it makes it so if you can block it well, all you need is a little crease, and you get him going at full speed, right? And he get that hole going for him. He's gone, right? And you saw how well I mean he's fast. Let's see. In total, Smith-Marsette returned 11 kickoffs for 381 yards and a touchdown last year. He also handled punt returning duties, racking up 228 yards on 29 punt returns for an average of 7.9 yards per return. 8 yards of returns, not bad. Not too shabby. With the Giants bringing him back on a 1-year deal, he'll have the chance to prove himself again, potentially in a league where kick returners matter more than they have in years. If the NFL makes kickoffs more returnable, Smith-Marsette's skill set could certainly become a major advantage for the Giants. Teams will need explosive, shifty returners who can make defenders miss in the open field, and Smith-Marsette fits that mold. And good old, remember Dwayne Harris, right? Since Dwayne Harris's 100-yard return in 2015, Giants have struggled to find any consistency in the return game. Although, remember, obviously, it's going back the year before that, right? Gunner returned the 1 punt for a touchdown. It wasn't a kickoff, though. They cycled through players, but nobody has locked down the job. Smith-Marsette, however, showed real flashes last season, and if the NFL really does revive the importance of return specialists, he can become a key piece of the Giants' special teams unit. Bringing him back on a low-risk deal could turn out to be a sneaky win for the Giants, especially if the new kickoff rule allows him to make an even bigger impact in 2025. Now, because it's obviously what they say is one of the most exciting plays, very exciting. I mean, get the ball up in the air and all of that, and, the guys run. I mean, it's a little bit different, right? But when the guys used to run down the field and you got the guy blocking each other and all that, and the guy catches the ball and he starts running and he breaks a hole and he breaks another one and he takes it off. I mean, very exciting play. Now, of course, the NFL does not want to lose that, right? But they're trying to make it safe, right? That's why they have the the kickoff rules. It is the two lines of the right after he touches the ball, then they can right. But they have to. I'm sure they'll have the data and all that stuff, and the kickoffs went up 57% from the year before, but the injuries came down, so that's huge, right? They certainly don't want to take the kickoff. I mean, that's just crazy. Unfortunately, the way it is, I mean, now it's like they took the onside kick out of there's no sneaky onside kick anymore. They took that out of right. That can be to certain players a dangerous play, but so unfortunately they took most of that out. I mean, it has to be at the end of the game. You got to be losing. You got to tell, hey, we're doing an onside. You know what I mean? So there's no sneaky onside kick anymore as of right now, unless they change the rules, right? But I certainly don't want to take the kickoff return out of the game. It's very exciting, right? And it's just the way it is. I mean, if you can block it right, you get like one hole or one or two holes or so, and guy can be gone. Because the way it was before, everybody had a lane, right? But you wanted to stagger the lanes. You don't want just all, well, you got 10 guys running down the field, and you got the kicker hanging in the background, right? But you don't want all 10 guys running down the field in a line, right? You got what do you got, like 4 or 5 guys here, another 3 guys behind them, another 3 guys, whatever, So you want to stagger it. So, but the way it is now, makes it a little bit easier, maybe to open up a hole or so. And if there's not a lot of layers there, you can certainly see where the kickoff can be a very exciting play, very, very exciting play coming in the NFL. So that's once again another good signing by the Giants, bringing a guy back, right, who has a role, right, and he's cheap, on the cheap. So that's right. And then finally, this one, I'll tell you what. Hold on. I'll get there some there. Oh, okay. And this one here, I'll tell you, it's kind of like, this guy's a I'm going to show you. But I'm like, I don't know, man. This guy, Stone Forsythe. Well, come on in, brother. But he's like a swing tackle. We just signed a swing tackle. And I'm like, we got this guy. You're paying him like, I don't know, 4 or 5. I might say it in this article, right? We just brought somebody in from the Browns. We're paying him like $5 or $6 million. We're paying Illuminor like $7 million. Andrew Thomas is like 20-something million. We got Evan Neal. He's still on his rookie deal, but he's still pick number 7. He's making, I don't know, $7 million, $6-7 million a year, something like that. So how many tackles do we need? It's like, how many swing tackles do we need? Why are we? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But then, let me show you. I'm scratching my head. And this is a tough one here. A tough one. But we went out. We brought him in, and it's like, I'm trying to. I don't know. All right. Sorry. Hold on. I got all these tabs are open up here. Okay. Let me show you his PFF numbers here. Here we are. Nope. That's not it. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. I mean, this is like, I don't know. I'm a little, I mean, this is his grades last year. 414, right? He graded out a 43.1. His run block was a 51. His pass block was a 41. I mean, right? But see, this was last year. He played right tackle. Oh, there he is. Nice smile. But let's see. We'll go 2023 here. Okay. Okay, you see here he played right tackle, and obviously he played some left tackle. That was in 2023. But you'll notice here once again he graded out a 58.2. This is his run block, and his run block. I mean, this is 2023. But look at his pass block at a 40.8. I don't know. I just don't know. 2022. Let's see here. Okay, but once again, he only played what, 1, 2. He played in 5 games. But he played left tackle, right tackle, right tackle, left tackle, left tackle. Okay, so he can play either position. Apparently not very well, but he can play either position. I mean, I can play either position. Not very well, but I can play either position. And then his rookie season, he just played right tackle, 14. Right. But if you look here, right, I mean, is this season, right? So, right. So last season, it hasn't been a major contributor in any of the season. I mean, 414, 497, 128, and 14. So in 4 seasons, he's played 1,053 snaps. Okay. But I mean, last season, his overall grade was a 43.1. His run block was a 51.6. His pass block was a 41.3. But if you look over here, he gave up. I mean, his efficiency is 93.1, which is not very good. He gave up 35 pressures in about 300, 300 pass blocking snaps. But at 414, so I mean, at 414, that's, I don't know, that's about 40%, maybe even less. Then, so I mean, if he played a full season, to be honest with you, he would have gave up about 80, 85 pressures. If he played every game, every snap, he would have gave up 80 to 90 pressures last season. And then you go back here, look this too, 2023. He played a few more snaps. Almost 500. So in 2023, he gave up 32 pressures. So at that rate, in 2023, he would have gave up he played the whole season, every snap. He would have gave up 65 to 70 pressures. The last season, he would have gave up, about 80 pressures, 80 to 90 pressures if he played the whole season. I don't know. I'm a little... Do you think they kept him because of the versatility? Maybe there would be more variety or not. Well, maybe. But we brought in Hudson, who is a swing tackle. I mean, and Hudson from the Browns, I mean, his numbers weren't unbelievably fantastic either. I mean, we got Illuminor, who actually last year played right tackle and left tackle. Right? So, I don't know. The thing is that, we got Illuminor, we got Andrew Thomas, we got obviously Evan Neal, some guy by the name of Evan Neal. We got Hudson, and we brought this guy in. So now we got like 5 tackles. I mean, I don't even know if you'd even keep 5 tackles, including the practice squad. Well, I don't know. I mean, so I mean, I don't know why we're bringing in all these tackles, especially they're not really grading out too well. I don't know. Don't know. I mean, it certainly give us some more variety. Yeah, sure. But the thing is that when it's game day, right? You got 53 guys, but you only dressed, I think, 46. So I mean, out of the 46 guys, you only got 3 tackles. You might wind up having a guy, maybe like a Zudu, if you have like eight offensive linemen. So you might have like 3 tackles, and you might have your Zudu who can play guard, or if you have to, throw him out a tackle or something like that. But I mean, it's like, so if you got 3 guys, but where are all these tackles going? I don't know. But according to reports, the Giants agreed to terms with offensive lineman Stone Forsythe pending a physical. He's a big boy, 6'8", but he's only 307 pounds. So played in 53 games with 14 starts, 11 at right tackle and 3 at left tackle in 4 seasons with the Seahawks. He also has one postseason appearance. 6th-round pick by the Seahawks in 2021. Forsythe started a career-high 8 games in 2023, 5 at right tackle and 3 at left tackle. He took over the right tackle for an injured George Fant in the 2025 season opener. Forsythe then started the next 5 games before a hand injury landed him on injured reserve. Forsythe returned for the final 3 weeks of the season. Prior to the NFL, Forsythe started 28 out of 40 games at Florida, seeing time at both guard and tackle during his career. He started all 12 games in 2020 and protected the blind side of Heisman Trophy finalist Kyle Trask as the Gators led the nation in passing yards per game. Well, I mean, he did good. He did good in the in college, but see, the Giants once again added to their depth along the offensive line, agreeing to terms Wednesday with Stone Forsythe, formerly of the Seahawks. His 27 comes aboard on a 1-year veteran salary benefit contract, meaning he is a bargain-priced addition as the Giants build out their roster. So, I mean, I guess it's signed to a 1-year deal, and if you don't make the team, right, you don't make the team. It's, I guess, not the end of the world. Forsythe was a 2021 6th-round pick out of Florida. 6'8", 307 pounds. He's the second offensive tackle the Giants brought in during free agency period. So it's kind of making you wonder. It's like, well, what's going on with Evan Neal, right? I mean, we have 312 tackles on the. I mean, right? I mean, we're not cutting Evan Neal. I mean, does that mean maybe we're going to move him inside to guard? That would be cool. Hudson III, who's the other tackle the Giants brought in, who's a swing tackle who can play obviously right and left tackle, started 17 games in 4 seasons with the Browns. Hudson received a 2-year deal for $12 million. So now we got Hudson making like $6 million a year. Illuminor is making $7 million a year. Andrew Thomas is making over $20 million a year. And Evan Neal is on his rookie deal, but he's got to be making $5, $6, $7 million a year because he was picked 7 in the draft. So we got 4 tackles making at least $5, $6 million. That's and it says so. Hudson, the swing tackle from the Browns we just brought in, received a 2-year deal for $12 million with half of that in guaranteed money, meaning, okay, he's expected to earn a spot. Right? I mean, his numbers aren't off the charts either. Let me see. James Hudson. Let me pop him up. I mean, his numbers weren't. Let me pop him up here now. Share the screen here. James Hudson III, shall I say? Okay, so let's go here. Let me share the screen again here. Oh, unless they expect it. Oh yeah, well, you know we're going to get injuries. That's for sure. That's a guarantee, right? I think they will move Neal inside. I hope so, boy. I mean, he did good run blocking last year, really good run blocking, but he still had some problems, with those big, elusive, those edge rushers. He has problems with them. Let's get him in a phone booth where it's just him and the big fat guy across the, unless, of course, they do a stunt or something like that, right? But for the most part, it's going to be him and some guy who's not that mobile right across the street from him. Me and you, brother, let's get it on. He'd probably fare a little bit better because he's not having a lot of success. He's so tall. He's having a hard time with those edge rushers. I'd love to see what he can do. I mean, he actually led the Giants' offensive line unit last year, according to PFF anyway, in run blocking. I think he graded out like an 80 run blocking. I mean, he was just smashing some dudes. It's good to see. Really, really good to see. I mean, hey, if we can move him into guard, if he gets the right guard spot, hey, we found ourselves a guard, right? We don't have to go out looking for a guard. All right, let me see here. Oh, here we go. Okay. I mean, this other guy they brought in is James Hudson III, shall I say. I mean, his grades aren't that great either. All right, so this is him last year, right? Now, his final game of the season against Cincinnati, right? They had an unbelievable game, graded out at 90, 90.7 run blocker, and that's great. But you look at the rest of the games, right? 51.8. I mean, look last year, he left tackle, right tackle. But if you go back, he's a left tackle, right tackle guy. I mean, swing tackle, which is cool. But I mean, it's like, he graded out a 51, a 53, 51, a 44, a 50.9. I mean, these are games last year. Okay. What do we got here? Pressures. He gave up 13 pressures in 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6 games. So he gives up like 2 pressures a game. So that's not absolutely unbelievably horrible. Okay. But a couple of games, he didn't play many snaps either. Only played 21 snaps against Minnesota, and against the Chargers, he only played 21 snaps. So, but if we look here, right, you go back, you look over his, this is his grades. Last season, his offensive grade was a 50.4 overall offensive grade. His offensive grade was a 44.7 in 2023. His run blocking was a 50. His pass block was a 48. And last year, his pass blocking, they had his pass blocking last year. It was a 40.2. Okay, it's 2021, right? Oh, here we go. I'm sorry, my bad. Last season, right? This is last season. Okay, he played against the Giants. He played early on. Okay. He after week 4, he was out after that. Right, but this is last season against Jacksonville, 42, 46 against the Giants, 55.4 against the Raiders. He graded out a 50.4. I mean, against Cleveland, 57.8. I'm sorry, with Cleveland in 2022, he graded 57.8. He was with Cleveland in 2021, he graded a 57.3. So I mean, that's super duper stellar numbers. So I mean, we're obviously guys, there aren't Hall of Fame tackles out there in free agency that you can just kind of pluck off the tree and everything like that. I get that. So sometimes you got to take what you can get, but it's kind of like, we're bringing in some, I don't know why we're bringing in so many tackles. We're still in, everything I see a lot of stuff like in, articles I read, stuff maybe in the Facebook groups and stuff like that. We're still possibly in the guard market. So if we're in the guard market, that's cool. But I don't know I just don't understand why we keep bringing in all these tackles. But at least with Forsythe, it's just like a 1-year deal. And if he doesn't want it making the team, it's no big deal. We don't lose that much money. I just wish some of these guys were grading out better. Because that's one thing we need. We need good offensive line play, right? All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 18 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much for the bottom art. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.